All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Week number 9 in the NFL. We're going through Sunday's slate in today's video. We're gonna go through each and every game. I'm gonna give you my lean on the spread as well as my lean on the total, but all my final plays that I'm actually rolling with myself. If you do want to fade my favorite plays, those plays will be in the pinned comment, and I update that always before the games kick off. So keep an eye on the pinned comment as I update it. Now, I said all the games, Sunday Night Football between the Bengals and the Bills, that will be its own video on the channel. So if you're looking for that game, that'll be its own video. Same thing with the Monday night game between the Chargers and the Jets. So this is just the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games here on Sunday. And we got a lot of good games and good spots in today's slate, or on today's slate here. So guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Geared up for week 9 here. Very, very excited. And we're starting it off with an absolute banger of a game. Kansas City hosting the Miami Dolphins here. So the Chiefs 6-2 on the year, 5-3 against the spread, and they're 3-1 at home. By the way, guys, as I'm editing this, I'm looking at it going, Ev, when are you going to mention that this game is being played in the morning and in Germany? Never did. I even mentioned Arrowhead a couple times because I'm dumb, but it doesn't change my opinion on the game. I just did kind of want to cut away and let you guys know that this is in Germany. Again, doesn't change my opinion on the game, but I mentioned Arrowhead a couple times. Don't want to confuse you guys. So FYI, game's playing over in Germany here. 9:30 kickoff, I believe, for Eastern Standard Time. Miami 6-2 as well, straight up, also 6-2 against the spread, but on the road they're only 2-2. They're yet to lose at home, but on the road they are 2-2. Miami's coming off of fairly easy win, I guess you could say, against New England and Kansas City. Kansas City, man. Denver beating you 24-9. Denver, the same Denver we've been watching this season. Yikes. That is a tough one to swallow there. And honestly, Kansas City's sitting at 2-point favorites here. I've seen it at -1.5 as well, but kind of the same gist, right? I think that this could be a good spot for Kansas City to bounce back. Now, do I have the balls to bet against Miami? We've done it before with the Eagles as well as the Bills, right? The 2 losses that Miami has had, we kind of sniffed out, and as did a lot of people. This is yet another good defense Miami's going up against. And when they play against good defenses, they have been struggling. Those 2 games that I mentioned, the Bills, they only scored 20 points against, right? Bills, a very good defense. Philadelphia, one of the better run defenses, if not the best run defense in the league. They only put up 17 points against. Now you're going up against a Kansas City defense that ranks 5th in terms of DVOA metrics. They rank 4th in pass DVOA. Rushing, that's where they kind of struggle, 23rd, so down towards the bottom of the league there. If Mostert's going to have a good game, Wilson, that type of thing, who knows? But I do still think that this is a Miami team that lives and dies by the big passes, the big plays. And if Waddle and Tyreek Hill are minimized to some degree by that really good Kansas City pass defense, I should say pass rush, then I think it could be kind of tough for the Dolphins here to pull away with this one. So give me Kansas City at home. To be honest, shows you kind of how, I guess I shouldn't be saying this, but lack thereof of confidence I have in this. If Miami was at home, I'd probably be thinking something different. So Kansas City in Arrowhead means a hell of a lot to me here. And Kansas City 17-2 in their last 19 games, coming off of a loss. So I don't hate them there. Honestly, if we do pull the trigger with the Kansas City, it'll probably be on the money line, because no way I'm getting burned by them winning by 1 or something. But in terms of a total, we're looking at a total here of 51 points, just like the Bills game, just like the Eagles game. When this Miami team plays good defenses, they struggle obviously a little bit more than they normally do. I like the under in this spot. Now the Bills, when they played them, that wasn't an under, but Miami did their job to hit the under, right? I think that this could be another spot, just like we saw against the Eagles, where we see a game in which Miami maybe scores 17 to 21 points, and the Chiefs, you know, if they score more than that, maybe it's a 21 to 27 type game, staying a field goal within this total. So give me the under in this one. It is a slight lean because, again, these are 2 prolific offenses. At any moment, like, they can go out there and score 1,000,000 points, right? So it is kind of risky to take an under, but using the Outlier tool, guys, if you want to check out Outlier, I do have a link in the pinned comment for 7 days for a free trial here. But you can see that 75% of the public here on the over, and this is an alternate line too, over 52.5, under 52.5 here, 85% of the money on there. So definitely worth noting that the public, no duh, 2 good offenses, looking at an over here. I'm going to follow the money here and look at the under. All right, Atlanta taking on the Minnesota Vikings here. This is going to be a weird game. I can already tell. 3.5 to 4 point favorites are the Falcons here at home. Total's been bouncing around from 38 to 37, 37.5 on plenty of sportsbooks right now. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is out. No Justin Jefferson either for this Minnesota team. Missing some guys on defense as well. I do think this is just a tough spot for them now. They cleaned up Green Bay even with Kirk Cousins rupturing his Achilles, right? They've now won 3 games in a row, and this is a Atlanta team that caught that loss to Tennessee. They aren't a very, very good team. Atlanta 4-4 on the year, but only 2-6 against the spread. I don't love them as a favorite in this one, so it might be crazy. Will sound the psycho alert alarm, but I'm going to lean towards Minnesota in this spot. Do I love it? No. Do I make it a final play? Probably not. But if I had a gun to my head and needed to make a pick on this game, I would trust Minnesota just because I think they've proven a little bit more, even outside of Kirk Cousins this season here, whereas Atlanta, I just don't trust Desmond Ridder. Now, I can be honest and a human at the same time, right? I get it if you're on Atlanta. Don't take this as me talking you off of Atlanta at all. Like, this is a kind of junky game in my opinion. Total sitting at 37. Like I said, it should be kind of a crappy game to say the least. I'm going to lean towards the under. I don't necessarily love that either, but unfortunately, we're given the leans here. Weather's not going to matter, obviously, but I just don't think that this is a really high-paced type of a game. So give me the under. All right, Baltimore taking on Seattle here. This is an interesting one. Baltimore sitting at 6-point favorites at home. The total sitting at 44. And though I don't necessarily see Seattle winning this one easily or anything like that, I do think that this is a good spot for Seattle getting 6 points. I don't hate that spot whatsoever. I've seen 5.5 on some sports books as well. So if you can get 6, I would do that because I think it's going to move in the opposite direction. But this is a good offense in Seattle. It is, and their defense, sure, you can make the argument that it isn't that great, but it's not bad. It's kind of middle of the road. But that being said, Baltimore's defense looks absolutely legit. So if Seattle wants to make this game, keep it close, hell, even win it, they're going to have to throw the first punch. They're going to have to get off to the races because this Baltimore defense, it really specializes in, I guess you could say, getting to the quarterback as well as just pass defense overall. They are the #1 team when it comes to passing rank in a DVOA ranking here, which is absolutely crazy for them. Leading the league in sacks, leading the league in yards per play defensively as well. Pretty damn impressive. But that being said, this is a good Seattle offense. Like I said, Geno Smith has kind of blown away expectations. They obviously have weapons, DK and Lockett. Like, I do think that this is a good spot for both these guys. Now, I do think Lockett's questionable. In this one, I think he had, maybe it was a hamstring if I remember correctly. We'll see if he gets the go, but nonetheless, guys, 6 points seems like it's too much to give the Seattle team. Give me them here on the spread. Total sitting at 44 points. I can't help but look at the over in this one. I just think that these are two teams I can't help but look at the under in this one. Little slip there. I can't help but look at this under just due to the fact that Baltimore's defense is that good. And even if Seattle throws the first punch, Baltimore's going to try and win this game with their defense like they have been doing. They don't trust Lamar Jackson, and they shouldn't trust Lamar Jackson. He's been a little sporadic, right? So I think that they're going to try and keep this game close to the trenches here and kind of eke one out. Seattle going off and trying to throw that haymaker could throw a wrench into this, but I still like the under 44. Next up, talking about a junk game, I guess. Cleveland taking on Arizona in this spot here. Cleveland, big time favorites, and I understand why. Like, this Arizona team is obviously and hasn't been anything special. They've won just one game on the season. Yes, it was against the good team, the Dallas Cowboys, but they've lost 5 straight games here. They've lost every game so far on the road. And this Cleveland team has a positive record, 4-3 straight up, 4-3 against the spread, and they're 3-1 at home. The 8 points is what I have a problem with, but I just can't bet Arizona. So I am going to lean towards Cleveland minus the 8 points. What I probably like more is the under here. Now, like I said, it's a junk game altogether in my opinion, so do we make a final play in this game? I'm not so sure of that, but if I were to make a final play, it probably goes under and then Cleveland. In fact, we may look at some sort of a same game parlay where we bump Cleveland down to like -2.5 and bump that total up to maybe 43 or something like that. So that actually has a chance, now that I say it out loud, has a chance of being a play, so keep an eye in the pinned comment for that. But yeah, give me Cleveland all day long. 8 seems like a lot of points, so if you're on Arizona, I'm not going to, crucify you and say you're an idiot, but this is a really, really bad Arizona team, and we should know that, right? So I'll take Cleveland here. I just hate laying that number, and I also like the under, but we could make that a same game parlay and kind of massage the numbers just a little bit. All right, guys, before we jump into the rest of the games here, I do want to give a shout out here to Sleeper. If you don't know what Sleeper is yet, you guys need to go check it out. No better time to do so than now because they have two, not one, 2 free squares out there right now. For Sunday Night Football, they've knocked Josh Allen's passing yards line down 2.5. They've done the same for Justin Herbert for Monday Night Football. If you don't know what Sleeper is, it's a great DFS pick'em app like the Prize Picks of the world, the underdogs, all that stuff, guys. But you can make a slip of 2 to 8 players. Obviously, the more you get right, the more you get paid out. And speaking of the payouts, 2 things here. Every single pick you make on Sleeper has a dynamic payout multiplier, not like the Prize Picks of the world that follow the fixed payout structure. That's a unique thing about them. What you can also do in terms of payouts here is if you deposit $100, they're going to give you a free $100. You'll have a new account balance of $200. You don't need to deposit $100. That's just the maximum. You could go in and throw in $20. They'll give you a free $20, a new account balance of $40. Guys, go try out Sleeper. If you are not on Sleeper and it's legal in your state, you are seriously missing out. I use this thing all the time. I talk about it on my TikTok. We talk about it on the channel, on Twitter. It's a great app. Really, really cool, really fun. And they're changing the game a little bit here too. So make sure to go check it out, guys. Again, that's Sleeper. The link is in the pinned comment. You can also download it and use code GUYBOSS and you get the same exact deposit match. But yeah, go ahead and get these 2 squares as a first time depositor and check out Sleeper. Let's go ahead and get back to the games now. All right, I really like this spot here. We have Green Bay hosting the Rams. The Rams are what I would consider the better team, coming off of a game in which they just got, tossed around by Dallas. The final score looks better than it even was, which is crazy because that's a 43-20 game that I'm saying that score looks better than the game actually was. They got mollywopped. They're going to come into Green Bay here and catch the win. Plus 140 right now for underdog money line play for the Rams, plus 140. It's pretty much going to come down to both these defenses are fairly poor. We can admit that. LA, 23rd ranked defensive DVOA team. Green Bay, even worse, so the 4th worst team in the league defensively DVOA ranked. But LA is a top 10 offense in DVOA rankings. They're going to be able to move the ball in this team, and I can't trust Jordan Love to do the same. Now, again, this isn't a very good defense on the Rams, so maybe Green Bay has a couple shots and everything like that, but really, if the Rams don't look terrible, I guess, against the, who'd they play? They played Pittsburgh, and then they played Dallas. It's 2 weeks in a row in which they looked pretty poor, right? I think that they're favorites in this game if one of those games doesn't happen. Like, it's tough to say, oh, this Rams team's good after looking at those 2 games, and I'm not telling you they're good, but they're better than this Green Bay team. So screw the points. Plus 3, yes, it could be a key number. If you want to be a wimp, lay or grab those points, but I'm going Rams here on the money line for plus 140. Very strong chance of that becoming a final play. Total sitting at 38.5. And seems kind of crazy because I just, hooting and hollering about this offense, but I also like the under because this could be a game in which we see 21-17, and that score makes so much sense to me. So I'll take the under as well here. It's obviously going to be really close. 21-17 is literally a half point within this total, but nonetheless, I still think that that's almost like a maximum score. I think this could be a messy game, just a game in which the Rams kind of dictate the pace a little bit more. All right, Houston taking on Tampa Bay, and I'm always honest with you guys, right? Like 100% honest. This is a game that I'm so on the fence with. Catch me 5 minutes from now, I like the opposite pick that I liked. One thing that has kind of stayed true is I don't mind the under here. But we've been taking a lot of unders on the video so far, right? Probably too many unders, some might say, but I do think that this is a spot in which Tampa Bay's defense is good. DVOA ranking, they're the 13th best defense in the entire league, right? Houston's offense is good. Their defense isn't all that great, but I don't think Tampa Bay's offense is good. So even though Houston has a bad defense, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to easily move the ball on them. So I think this game could be a slower-ish paced game. The last 3 games for Tampa Bay, 6 points, 13 points, and 18 points, right? And then even Houston's kind of cooled down a notch in the last 3, 19, 20 and 13 points scored. So I think this one's going to be a low scoring game, keeping it to under 40. But in terms of a spread, I keep going back and forth. I want to back the defense, but you do have a hungry Houston team. They lost via a last second field goal to the Panthers, who got their first win of the season against them, right? you got to be pissed if you're the Texans. So I go back and forth. Let me know in the comments what you guys are rolling with. While you're down there in the comments, go ahead and comment 14 because we just made it past the 14-minute mark. I also want to think of an emoji we can start throwing in the comments that, you know, in a month's time or so, I'll say just drop the emoji, not telling you what emoji, and then we have that specific emoji that everyone, if you know type of a thing. So give me some emoji ideas too if you want to. But yeah, go ahead and comment 15 or 14 in the comments and let me know what you're thinking on this game. Because again, I'm on the fence there, but I do like the under. I can tell you that much. All right, the New England Patriots taking on the Commanders. The Commanders really shaking things up. Maybe the only bright part of their defense that everyone after one game was like, this is a real defense. I, from week one, said this is not a real defense, but they blew it up. Sweat's gone. Chase Young now gone as well, going to the Bears, and then the 49ers, those two. Interesting to see. You know, New England is favored in this spot, which is a little crazy to me because this is a team that I think they've only been favored, it's like once or twice on this season, which is fair because this has not been a very good New England team. They are at home. They're coming off a game against Miami. Prior to that, they won against Buffalo. I think that there's too much crap going on with Washington, and they might be mailing it in. So give me the Patriots, but I hate betting on the Patriots this year. I think I did it once, and it was the game in which they lost to the Raiders. So don't love that whatsoever. This is just a bad Patriots team. Bill Belichick seems like he doesn't really have a grasp on the new age NFL. As much as I love and as much as he made, you know, my younger years even watching those Super Bowls with Tom Brady and all that enjoyable, this team stinks right now. The thing is, they're playing another team that stinks. So I'll take the home team here, not just because I'm a biased Patriots fan, because the Patriots are at home and Washington blew it up. Now, the total's sitting at 40.5. I could see, I know in head-to-head, guys, if you watch that show, Tassos took the over, and I don't hate that spot either. 40.5 on most books here. You can get it at, the graphic says 41.5, but you can get it at 40.5. I like the over here as well. I don't think that either one of these defenses is going to be this crazily good defense. Now, the Patriots defense sneaky in the top 12 ranked defense DVOA metrics wise. So a little bit of defensive promise there, but this Washington defense, I don't think so. So if this could be a 21-20 game almost, or, you know, 23-20, it cashes the over, and that could still be a low-ish scoring game. So I'll lean towards the over ever so slightly here, but that is an official play on H2H. If you guys don't watch that show, it's a show on the channel. Me and Tassos go battle back and forth every single week in NFL. He's kicking my ass right now, but I hate to lean towards his pick, but I'm going to do it. Over 41/over 40.5, whatever the best line you can get. New Orleans taking on Chicago. I kind of don't hate Chicago plus the points here. Graphic says 8.5. You can get Chicago plus 9.5 right now for -115 over on BetMGM, even though the spread is 8.5. Again, that's you know, the standard spread right now, but an alternate line on BetMGM, one more point, which seems like it could make a difference, right? For -115, only 5 cents more of a price tag there. So I'll go ahead and lean towards Chicago just because it is a huge number. It's not necessarily me backing Chicago. Like, they couldn't even keep it close for our same game parlay the other night, right, in prime time. So I'm a little scorned by them, but this Saints team isn't, in my opinion, good enough to be out there, you know, laying 9.5, 8 points, anything like that. Like, if we get 9.5 and the Saints have to win by double digits, it's more of a knock on them than it is me backing the Bears. So it's just a big number to me. Give me the Chicago Bears here. Not on the money line, I almost said that, but with the plus 9.5. Total sitting at 41. I also don't mind, obviously, the under in this game. Now, you have a bad Bears defense, but the Saints defense is pretty legit, and I don't necessarily believe all that much in the Bears offense, right? Like, I don't think that that's a fair place to go if analyzing this team. So if they don't have a good offense, the Saints don't really have that great of an offense either, and you know, I don't think Chicago's going to move the ball all that well. We could see like a 14-10 type game or something like that, a really low scoring game here. So you know, fingers crossed for that. All right, Carolina taking on the Colts here. I just have to imagine that the Colts go out there and win this one, right? In terms of their line, it's -2.5, but -140 on the money line if you want to be a little bit more safe. They've lost 3 straight games, but they've scored a decent amount of points in the last 2. 28 and 27 points scored against 2 decent defenses, Cleveland and then New Orleans. So I'm giving them a little bit credit there, and this is such a bad Carolina team. I just can't see them winning 2 in a row. Like, the earth has a better chance of cracking and shattering than that happening. So give me Indianapolis here on on the money line. The total sitting at 43 points. It seems like a high number, but we did see Carolina, obviously get 15 points, which seems like it's even a lot for that team last week. Indianapolis again scored 27. You start to look at these numbers and you're like, hey, maybe it's not all that crazy, but I will say I can't trust it. So as much as, that seems like a number that's doable because the defensive, the lack thereof of defense on the side of, I guess, both teams, you could say the lack of defense, right? I get it, but I'm still going to lean towards the under because I don't believe in that Carolina offense. And anyways, an alternate line here, Alt-Ev coming out to play, 42.5, under 42.5 for plus 111 on DraftKings. Not a bad spot there either. But this is a weird game, guys. I think Indianapolis money line is probably my main lean in it. That has a chance to be a final play. I don't know if we want to mess around with the alternate lines. All right, Las Vegas taking on the Giants. What a, I guess I shouldn't say I'm shocked, but shocking Josh McDaniels out the door now over there. And this is a game that should be pretty ugly. Las Vegas not playing all that great, obviously. The Giants also not a very good team this season. So in terms of where I lean here, I look at the under. And I almost apologize. We've looked at so many unders on the slate today, so either I'm right and I'm seeing this clearly, or we are so off and everything's gonna go way over, right? Like, it's not gonna be any in between here. It's either I have a vibe for the totals this week or I do not. But both these two teams, even with low totals, right? 34.5 for the Giants last week. Vegas was at 42, but that was because of the Lions. But we've seen 2 straight games for the Giants in the 30s in terms of what we're looking at from a total perspective, and they're 1-7 to the overs this year. So 7 unders hit, just 1 over. Las Vegas, not much better. 2 overs, 6 unders hit. So regardless of the small line, give me the under 37 in this spot. In terms of, I think, who wins, I guess I'll lean towards Vegas because they're at home and because they might have some motivation with their coach being fired. But fat chance I bet this one, to be completely honest. I like the under more than anything. All right, Philadelphia hosting Dallas, in which probably, we bookend this slate really well. Miami, Kansas City, what a game. Bookended by Dallas and Philly. What a damn game here. We'll start with the total in this one, right? Sitting at 47 right now. This seems, a divisional matchup. It seems like such a spot in which these two teams will grind it out. We know that Philly's run defense is really good, and we know Dallas's defense overall is really good. So I do like the spot for an under. My only concern with that is, which is weird because it's usually everyone's going to be sort of on the over for these type of hyped games, but it's not an original thought that these two teams are very good when it comes to playing defense, I guess, right? So I think a lot of people could be on the under. It could be a very public play, so keep an eye on the pin com to see if we roll with it, but yet another under that we've taken. It's either going to be that or that, because we're taking a lot of unders. So there's either going to be a lot of points scored this week in the NFL or very few. But in terms of what we're looking at, I do think the public play is going to be Philly -3, and I think that makes sense to me. But I'm going to go ahead and fade what I believe the public is going to do and look at Dallas here +3. Now, they have to have some momentum coming off of that win against the Rams. They look spectacular. The Eagles are a way different team than the Rams, and I totally understand it. Like, that was a dream matchup for the Cowboys, offensively and defensively. The Eagles are going to be a way tougher task, but I think a lot of people think the Eagles are going to pull this one out. So I'm trying to be the contrarian here and go where I don't think the public's going. We'll see, obviously, when the percentages come out more accurately. But yeah, give me Dallas +3 and the under in this one. And guys, that is all I have for you in today's video. Hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's cash in week number 9. Week number 8, we kind of middled, right? Week number 7, we crushed 11-4 in week number 7. Week number 6 did well as well. Let's get back to the winning ways and get back in the green, because week number 8, again, we lost a little bit off the top. Week number 9, I'm feeling some good vibes. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.